Mirický, Josef Záruba, or the proven World Touring Car race winner, Maťo Homola, and also past two champions of the ESET V4 Cup from 2015 and 2017, Stefan Rosina and Jakub Knoll. And so we are joining the on-track action for the qualifying, which is nearing the midway distance. A 10-minute qualifying session will be contested at each race weekend, and its results will decide the starting order for the first race of the weekend, 5 minutes running, and then we also have second race, also 25 minutes. Starting order will be decided by the results of the race number 1. So lots of on-track action to be had. Let's take a look at the standings. We have Pavel Gellner currently leading the standings, nearing the midway mark of the qualifying. Petr Fulin shortly after him in P2. You see the gap being really very small right now, a 1/10.5, which on a track that is 4,381 meters, awesome, 2.7 miles long, is really not very much indeed. Bartek Mirický, he has been really fast in the pre-season testing. Also Josef Záruba, who's just now jumped into third, slotted in there, and also dived down under the 147 mark. Maťo Homola, P5 currently, 147.5, so that's already a little bit more significant gap. And then the rest of the field is opening up a little bit more, but yes, we still have the second half of qualifying to go, so plenty of time for our racing drivers to improve and jump ahead up in the order. Pavel Gellner leading the way, 146.6 in front of Petr Fulin. He was also very fast in the pre-season testing. In P6 we have Filip Sládečka, then René Martinek, an Austrian guy, although his name might not suggest so. Gabriela Jilková currently slotting in P8, 148.8. Šimon Ladňák P9, and then Petr Čížek completing the top 10 currently. But as you can see, towards the bottom end of the standings, there are still several drivers who are yet to set a lap time. Most notably, for example, Jakub Knoll or David Vršecký. We're expecting these two to be really fast in the season. Michal Makeš, he was also one of the fastest during pre-season tryouts. Currently with the time well over 2 minutes. He'll definitely get under that mark in the coming moments. David Vršecký currently P15, and look at that right now, already under a second away from P1, so we already have 15 or more drivers, 15 drivers within a second. This is a very twisty and technical track, and for the GT3 cars it is a big challenge because they are maybe, let's say, more suited to faster open tracks. Hungaroring has been called the Mickey Mouse circuit in the past, and as you can see, it's definitely worth the name because it's tight and twisty, and chances for overtaking are very scarce. Miha Primožič currently in P8. He shot himself up into top 10, just in front of Filip Sládečka, whom we are watching right now in his Lamborghini Huracan. Some 77 thousandths of a second from his nearest competitor. Pavel Gellner managed to improve even further, 146.447, which means that Pavel Gellner is defending very well from his nearest rival, Petr Fulin, 146.4. Look at that, 7 thousandths of a second between the first two, splitting the guys currently on the provisional front row of the grid. That is incredibly tight. So let's take a look at the track from Pavel Gellner's point of view. Let's take a ride with him in his Porsche 911. Slightly missing the first apex in the chicane. Joachim Galasch with the Mercedes, some 0.3 of a second away from pole currently. Entering what will definitely be his last attempt for an improvement. This is Batsky in P6, and look at that. Only 1/10 of a second away from pole in P6. So the qualifying has been really tight so far. You see that the gaps are just minimal between the drivers. Petrofulin. This is a great demonstration of how closely fought this championship really might be, because 0.7 of a second from P1 to P2, that's virtually nothing really. So the dying seconds of qualifying ticking down, and then we'll see who will stay on pole, or be on pole actually. Pavel Gellner holding for P1 currently, 146.447, still in front of Petrofulin, Joachim Galasch, Josef Záruba, David Němček managed to jump up into 5th. And we have Maťo Homola, Bartek Merecký, Miha Primožič, Jan Černý and Michal Makeš completing the top 10. Michal Makeš already finished his last flying lap, so he will not be improving any further, but he still might be jumped by somebody else. Petrofulin P2. And it seems that that's it from the former European Touring Car champion. Pavel Gellner holding on to the pole position, and he even improved his lap time. Let's see that, 146.332. So Pavel Gellner only cemented his position at the top of the grid, defending his place from all the other drivers. Joachim Galasch remaining 3rd in front of Josef Záruba, David Němček. Maťo Homola also completed his last lap without improvements, 146.9. That will leave him 6th. Bartek Merecký. We may have expected Bartek Merecký a little bit higher up the grid, but it's P7 for him. Miha Primožič in 8th. Then Jan Černý, Michal Makeš completing the top 10. So let's see some other notable drivers way further down the grid. Gabriela Juková in P19. So that was the qualifying. We know the starting grid for our first ever ESET I-Series race P3. So Josef, congratulations on the first qualifying session, P3. Are you satisfied with your lap?
Yeah, there was some. Thank you, first of all, and then there were a few mistakes, but P4 is not bad, so I'm quite satisfied. But I'm not that happy as these two guys here behind me. So they are happy, and that's the most important thing, that Broniek and Giri are happy. So.
But as you can see, you have your team right next to you, so they'll be cheering up for you. What are your expectations, and maybe even their expectations from the first race?
I hope I'm just gonna keep the pace up with the Porsche, and we'll see if I can manage to overtake them, and we'll see. But I'm gonna do my best and hope for win. And you guys? Ciao. Ty máš taky něco říct?
I was actually going to ask one last question before we go racing. Are the guys right behind you letting you drive quietly, or are they giving you hints, giving you maybe a little push? Are they giving you some suggestions for the first turn of the race?
I don't know. I hope there won't be any pushes, because in the first race at Imola, I got pushed from P2 in the first corner. So I hope this race is gonna be all right. And there will be no pushes and no dirty racing, and it's gonna be fair and good.
Okay, thank you very much, and best of luck for the first race of the season. Hope everything goes well.
Thank you.
So that was Josef Záruba after his first qualifying session of the season. Same goes for us, and we are really ready and excited for the first racing action here at Hungaroring, which will take place really very soon. So we're expecting the first race of the season in a few minutes, and we'll see Pavel Gellner on the front row of the grid. Pavel Gellner, a Czech driver for the BUGGYRA racing team. Alongside him on the first row, another Porsche 911 driven by Petr Fulin, racing for Fulin Race Academy. And then Joachim Galage in P3, and then Josef Záruba that we spoke to just a few moments ago. David Němček in P5, Bartek Meritsky P6, Maťo Homola P7, and he knows really well how to race around Hungaroring, so we'll be expecting him to be moving up the order definitely in the race. As we mentioned, nearly 4.4 kilometer long track, and nearly 30 cars on the grid, so the track will be really busy when the going gets green. We have Michal Makeš, who was really very fast in the pre-season testing and preparations. So we'll see in a few minutes how everything goes for the first race. Let's remind ourselves we'll be racing for 25 minutes plus the remainder of the last lap. And the top 10 drivers will be awarded with points with the same key that the points are awarded in, let's say, Formula 1 racing. So 25 points up for grabs for the race winner. And we are racing down into turn 1. Pavel Gellner from pole, from Petr Fulin into first turn, and Petr Fulin taking the inside line to jump into first. So Petr Fulin battling Pavel Gellner into the second turn of the circuit. Petr Fulin leading the race. That was a brilliant maneuver down the inside of Pavel Gellner. And we also have Josef Záruba, who's trying to work his way up around the outside of turn 2. So let's take a look again at the start. Pavel Gellner with maybe a little bit more wheel spin than he needed. There were some cars in the wall already after a few meters of the race. And Petr Fulin, he managed a nice clean overtaking maneuver. Pavel Gellner gave him maybe way too much space on the inside of the first corner, so Pavel Gellner lost the lead. in the opening stages of the race, but he is managing to hold on to second at least. Josef Záruba third. He moved himself up into P3 in front of Joachim Galáš. Bartek Mirecký P5, then Michal Makeš. He started really well from P10. Then we have David Němček. He lost out a little bit on the opening lap of the race. So we are driving with Joachim Galáš in P4 in his Mercedes AMG GT. Up through the last corners onto the start and finish straight. Joachim Galáš P4. He will definitely be a podium contender in the season. Definitely even trying to fight for victories. Petr Fulín leading the first race after the opening lap. So Petr Fulín being our race leader in race 1 of 2020. Bartek Mirecký following Joachim Galáš really closely. It's a Mercedes against Lamborghini. Petr Fulín definitely trying to open his gap, and there's somebody crashed on the outside of turn 3. So let's take a look a little bit lower down the order. Gabriela Jilková managed a really great getaway because she moved herself up into 12th after starting 19th, I believe. This is Jiří Navrátil against René Martinek. Jiří Navrátil back in online racing after some years, and he says that maybe his best days are now long gone, so it took him quite a while to get himself up to speed with the best ones. Hopefully he'll be catching up during the season, and we'll see him improving massively. Bartek Mirecký 5th in front of Michal Makeš. A little nudge on the inside. Michal Makeš is trying to make some space for himself, but he'll be left with the outside line for the long last turn of the circuit, and he's got the ARC Bratislava Lamborghini on the inside as a result. That's David Němček. Michal Makeš very nearly lost his P6 after being, let's say, quite optimistic with his move on Bartek Mirecký. Makeš tried to make some space for himself, but then the other turn was not in favor of him, and this is David Vršecký in trouble on the opening lap of the race, probably even. David Vršecký, as we see, is 27th and therefore last. In 26th we have Jasmin Koloc, who's the teammate of David Vršecký. We should be having Tomáš Enge, the only Formula One driver from the Czech Republic in the history, on the grid, but this weekend at the Hungaroring he is being replaced by the daughter of Martin Koloc, Jasmin. She's currently 26th. Petr Fulín still leading the way after 5 minutes of racing action. 1:46.0, that's his last lap, and Petr Fulín definitely looking in a very good shape here at the Hungaroring. Already opening a 2-second gap from Pavel Gelner. Josef Záruba third from Joachim Galáš and Bartek Mirecký. This is also an interesting battle. We have Maťo Homola starting in his Lamborghini Huracan in those traditional yellow colors, or let's say yellow and rainbow colors of the ARC Bratislava team. And we are back with Petr Fulín in his Fulín Race Academy livery, or liveried Porsche 911. Well, some thought that the Porsche machines might not be that strong here in Hungary, but that is definitely not proving to be the truth, because the German cars are currently taking the first 2 spots from a Lambo and one Mercedes, and there's another Lamborghini. Well, 3 of them actually, from P5 to P7. Pavel Gelner also managing to open up a bit of a gap to his nearest rivals behind him. So he can definitely focus well on trying to catch up with Petr Fulin. And Joachim Galash in between 2 Italian bulls, trying to fight Josef Zaruba. He made a little mistake on the exit of the last corner, and Joachim Galash has seen an opportunity and he's diving down the inside into turn 1. Joachim Galash is moving himself back up into 3rd that he lost right after start. So great stuff from Joachim Galash. He's now P3 from Josef Zaruba and Bartek Mirecki. He's leaving the 2 Lambos to decide this battle only between themselves. Definitely trying to disappear very quickly, but that's currently not the case. It's a great scrap for P3 and the last podium position in the first ever ESET I-Series race. Bartek Mirecki taking a look on the inside on Josef Zaruba, pushing him wide. Josef Zaruba has to cut the chicane. He might need to give his position back to Bartek Mirecki, but arguably he was pushed out of the track. So Josef Zaruba currently holding his position, definitely not giving up. And Bartek Mirecki is actually somewhere else to look right now, because he's being attacked by Michal Makeš and also David Němček. David Němček in the leading entry of ARC Bratislava, currently P7 right behind Michal Makeš. And there's another Lambo right behind them. That is Filip Sladečka in P8. Filip Sladečka running for Sladečka Motorsport. David Němček trying another look on the inside on Michal Makeš, and this time successful. And this also allowed Filip Sladečka through. So Michal Makeš has lost a couple of places. He was actually on course to battle even with Bartek Mirecki and Josef Zaruba for P4, but currently is way down in 8th after some unsuccessful battles with the other Lambos around. And this is another car that we'll see during the season. Miha Primožič driving for a Nissan, driving a Nissan GTR in P9. Miha Primožič competing for ASP Lemma Racing and being the sole Nissan entry in the field. In the meantime, we still have Petr Fulin leading the race comfortably. Look at that. Nearly 5 seconds of a gap. That's something that Petr Fulin has already managed to pull in front of Pavel Gelner. Yeah, the timings going bananas a little bit. So it's really hard to tell the gaps at some points. Okay, so Petr Fulin leading by some 4 seconds maybe from Pavel Gelner. Definitely leading comfortably. Ooh, and there's a big crash for Filip Sladečka. He spun his car, he lost it on the exit of the last corner. and crashed into the pit wall. That's a concrete wall that's very, very hard, and will not allow any mistakes, will not forgive anything. So Filip Sladečka, after a huge crash, but managing to keep on racing, but it seems that his car will be damaged quite significantly. So that's some rotten luck for Filip Sladečka, and definitely also not great for the second race, because as we said, the results of the first race will decide the order for the race number 2, and there is no reversing of the order on the starting grid. So quite often in motorsport these days we're used to, let's say, reversing the top 8 or top 10 of the standings after the first race into the second race, but nothing of that will happen in ESET I-Series in 2020, which means that this mistake for Filip Sladečka will definitely be proving costly also for the race number 2. Maťo Homola making his way up the order, currently P14, but definitely way lower than we would expect him to be. And actually Maťo Homola was somewhere around the top 10 after qualifying. Definitely in the opening stages of the quali. So seeing him 14th is a bit of a surprise, I've got to say. Now he's trying to move on Karel Wittke. Karel Wittke letting him through in the last corner. So we've passed the halfway mark of the first race, and we've got one of the Beamers running wide. That is the M6 machine from Munich. That could be either Tomáš Liedl or Gregor Žigo, I suppose. So this is Pavel Gelner, still distant second. So let's take a look at this scrap for 6th between David Němček and Michal Makeš. Makeš glued to the diffuser of the ARC Bratislava car. And that typical Lambo sound in the Huracan of Michal Makeš. Another 2 Lambos right in front of this pairing. We have Bartek Mirecký in front of Josef Záruba, and Josef Záruba is trying to get back in front of Bartek Mirecký, and he's just succeeded. So it seems that Josef Záruba was overtaken by Bartek Mirecký a while ago, and now Josef Záruba managed to move himself back up into 4th. There was another scrap in turn 2, another swap of places. Bartek Mirecký tried it again really hard on the inside, but succeeded only for a few seconds. Josef Záruba back in front of him currently. So a quartet of Lambos from P4 to P7, and behind them Miha Primožič in his Nissan GTR. Then we have Tom Beghuyse, who is racing for Xenek Motorsport in the leading Ferrari 488. That's the first of the Maranello machines on the grid. The other one being Vani Fink-Borner, also racing for Xenek Motorsport. but we actually do not have Finkboner in the race this time out. Anyway, then it's Filip Sladečka in his damaged Lamborghini completing the top 10, and there's another great battle between Lambos on the start-finish straight. Michal Makeš trying his luck yet again to move himself up in front of David Němček, but can't make it stick. He's having a look on the inside into 2, and both running side by side into turn 3. That's very dramatic, and this time Michal Makeš manages to stay in front of David Němček. So it actually looked quite innocent at the beginning. We had Michal Makeš just having a look on the inside, but then he managed to find some gap on the inside and squeeze through. Josef Záruba cutting the chicane yet again, and Michal Makeš making another place on Bartek Mirecky. So Michal Makeš moving up into 5th, relegating Bartek Mirecky down to 6th. David Němček trying to have a look left and right, and he definitely has to start watching his mirrors, because they are now full of Miha Primožič in his GTR. Ooh, another Beamer. Wrong way up. That was one of the Z4s. That should be Gregor Žigo in his Trevor Racing car. Enjoying some bad luck in his 24th position. Petr Fulín, in the meantime, leading the race comfortably. When Miha Primožič trying his luck down the inside. He learned how to do this watching Michal Makeš on the last lap, and he was pushed by David Němček and spun into the barrier. That was a nasty crash for Miha Primožič. So Miha Primožič, who moved himself up into 7th, was then spun by the Slovakian driver after leaving the track on the outside of turn 3 and then kissing the barrier heavily on the other side of the road. So that's some really bad luck for Miha Primožič, but it seems that he's managing to stay 8th. This is Joachim Galáš overtaking Gregor Žigo, but already lapping the Slovakian man. And we have Pavel Gelner still comfortably in P2. Definitely not closing down on Petr Fulín, but still having enough of a cushion in front of Joachim Galáš in 3rd. So the whole top 4 is separated by big margins, which means that there are no overtakes to be had anytime soon. Maťo Homola still working his way up the field, now trying his luck on Keke Platzer into the first corner. This looked almost too easy. That was some textbook stuff from Maťo Homola on the Audi. So Maťo Homola currently 11th and only 1 position now from the points. But there are only 4 minutes left on the clock. And it seems there's Gregor Žigo trying to take another fight after being lapped. because that's definitely not Tom Beghuyser attacking David Němček, and it's also not Miha Primožič. So that was an interesting battle in which Gregor Žigo should not be, because he's already a lap down on the other cars, but enjoying his time in Hungary and also wanting to say something into the fights for top spots. Petr Fulín leading the way from Pavel Gelner, Joachim Galáš in third, Josef Záruba currently in P4, opening a bit of a gap on the other Lambos of Michal Makeš, Bartek Merecky and David Němček. Still, this is the most interesting scrap within the top 10. These are the closest gaps that we have there. Though it seems it could also be very tight between Miha Primožič and Tom Beghuyser in the fight for P8. Michal Makeš into the chicane, following his Michanek Motorsport ACCR teammate. And Petr Fulín completely unchallenged in this race, entering what will probably be the penultimate lap of the race. 1 minute 50 left on the clock. That will be really very close and will cross the start-finish line again, I believe a few seconds from home, which means that Petr Fulín should be able to enter another lap after this one. Well, he definitely has enough of a gap to try and slow down a bit and already close the race after this lap, but that might be risking too much, and there's probably no reason for that because Petr Fulín has been dominating all the way through, so taking another lap should be maybe the easier option for him. Joachim Galáš comfortably in P3, also unchallenged from behind, from the quartet of the Lambos, driven by Záruba, Makeš, Merecky and Němček. Then we have Primožič and Beghuyser quite close to one another, and then Filip Sládečka completing the top 10. Maťo Homola in the meantime managed to close the gap to Filip Sládečka, basically half it from what we saw last time out we checked. This is Tom Beghuyser driving really close behind Miha Primožič. Being a little bit more wayward and even kissing Miha Primožič from the back and sending him outside the track, but waiting to let him go again. So Petr Fulín now on the last lap of the race. Petr Fulín still leading the way more than comfortably. Last 4.3 kilometers for him to run around. And it seems that there's a big trouble for Miha Primožič yet again, and he's kissing the barrier again in this race, and that was another heavy impact for Miha Primožič. We can take a look at that again. Some dramatic pirouettes on the start-finish straight. Luckily, other drivers managed to avoid him. That was another dramatic moment for Primožič after being overtaken by Tom Beghuyser for P8. And that means that Filip Sladečka should be moving up into 9th and Maťo Homola into 10th. But currently we have Sladečka down in 11th. And that should allow Keke Platzer into P10 and into the points positions. So we'll take a look at that after the race, because we are now with Petr Fulín, who is completing the last lap of the race. And Petr Fulín dominating the opening race of the 2020 ESET I-Series season. He didn't put a foot wrong. Managed to overtake Pavel Gelner into the first turn, and now Petr Fulín wins the opening round of the 2020 ESET I-Series. Pavel Gelner, after taking pole, not quite making the job in the race, finishing second. Joachim Galáš opening the season with a podium finish, so great job for him in P3. And we have Josef Záruba as the leading Lamborghini in P4. From Michal Makeš, Bartek Erecký, David Němček down in 7th, or maybe even 8th, because no, this is Maťo Homola. This is the teammate of David Němček. Tom Beghäuser finishing 8th, and Maťo Homola, after playing catch up all the way through the race, finishing in P9. So great job for the Slovakian driver Keke Platzer, taking the last point for 10th, and that means that Filip Sladečka was pushed outside the top 10 in the closing stages of the race and finishes 11th. And we also have David Vršecký, who the race was not so lucky this time out, and he actually left his car on the outside of turn 3. But right now we are switching to Czech for the interview, and then we'll translate later on. Takže Davide, zdravíme ze studia po prvním závodě ESET I-Series. Vypadá to, že tenhle ten závod úplně nebyl z těch šťastnějších.
Celý ten trénink. No, zrovna jsme teďka, volal mi Tomáš, že bychom, ptal jsem jaký to je, říkám, doufám, že náš start v reálný GT3 byl malinko lepší. Takže ten závod pro mě nebyl úplně dlouhý, no, já jsem se nezařadil ani 5.
Co se tam vlastně stalo? To bylo snad hned v úvodním kole ten problém.
Bylo to hned na cílovce, já jsem jenom viděl nějakého Mercedesa natočenýho, přede mnou se natočil a vzal prostě do dveří na bok, takže já jsem neměl v podstatě moc kam jet a byla z toho velká čepice. No.
Tak to je velká smula, to znamená, ale v tom druhém závodě to bude velká stíhačka, tak těšíte se aspoň na tu?
Rozhodně doufám, že bude další pro mě. No. Takže bude to zezadu, no, tak uvidíme, jak to půjde a se budu snažit si to užít, co to bude.
A co zatím obecně onlineové závodění a GT3?
Tak samozřejmě my si zvykáme na ten post toho simulátoru, kde se snažíme jakoby navnímat ty věmy, ne z toho z té reálné jízdy, ale z toho, jak prostě se sedí, prostě jak přes volant v podstatě. Je to trošičku jiný než v tom reálu, samozřejmě zmáčknu tlačítko a mám nový auto, takže je to trošičku jiný. No. Takže hned jsem říkal, v reálném závodě, když to klouzne a člověk to srovná, je nadšený, že nerozbil auto, na simulátoru je naštvaný, že má zkažený nejrychlejší kolo.
Každopádně moc děkuji za rozhovor a přeju mnohem víc štěstí a zábavy do toho závodu číslo 2.
Jo, děkuji moc.
So that was David Vršecký. Unfortunately for him, the first race of online racing for him didn't last very long because he was involved in...
Ještě mrknu, jestli tam je rádio.
Pod Matadorem, tam to klouže hodně, tam se do technického obdobníku a prostě najednou celý auto odjede o 2 metry ven, ale je to kontrolovatelné.
Je to těsně před první jízdou, tak jsem na to sám zvědavej, no. Běžte se modlit všichni.
Tady nějaký velký auto, má to velký kola, hodně kol, zádu supláky. Potěším se.
Ale Tomáš, ty body jsou...
Řadí se se spojkou?
No ty vole, bylo by dobrý. No.
Nahoru i dolů.
Bylo by to docela dobrý. No.
Nevím, jestli za mě bude řídit z kamionu, ale dá se s tím hrát, má to super výkon, super krouťák. Fakt jako zábava je to.
Took the last 2 points positions. And so we are ready for the race number 2. Petr Fulin, after dominating the first race, will be handed pole position. So it's again the duo of Porsches on the front row of the grid, but this time the other way around. So Pavel Gelner on the left-hand side, and Pavel Gelner might now try the same thing that Petr Fulin pulled on him in the previous race. And we are racing Petr Fulin from pole, but this time it seems that Pavel Gelner does manage a better getaway. So Pavel Gelner immediately moving into the first corner. holding on to the better line, and Petr Fulín having more trouble with some other guys. That is Josef Záruba, who was nicely aggressive into the first corner, and he also moved himself up and through in front of Petr Fulín, but this time Josef Záruba in the second corner being a little bit more on the outside than he needs to be, but still holding on to second. So let's take a look at the start once again. Petr Fulín spun his wheels a little bit more than he needed to, and he allowed Pavel Gelner into first. That could actually prove to be the decisive move of the race, as we saw in the race one when Petr Fulín got the job done into the first corner. So Pavel Gelner leading the race from Josef Záruba, and Petr Fulín currently in P3, but with the speed that he showed in the first race, this should be maybe somewhat more interesting. We have one of the cars, and that should be Tom Berghäuser. Way wide on the outside. Tom Berghäuser trying to get back on the racetrack, managing so. Bartek Mirecki in another scrap of the Lamborghinis, this time being fifth on the road behind Michal Makeš. Right behind him we have David Němček, and also that could be Filip Sládečka behind David Němček. Pavel Gelner leading the way, but Petr Fulín already overtaking Josef Záruba and taking second from him. So Petr Fulín showing that he will not be satisfied with P3, and he will definitely not be standing still. Josef Záruba trying to fight his way back into second. This will be difficult. Petr Fulín currently using a little bit too much road in the opening corners of the circuit, but running away with it. We have Záruba third, Makeš fourth, Mirecki fifth, Sládečka sixth. So Filip Sládečka overtook David Němček, and we have a new name into the top 10. That's Jan Černý after a good start, and he moved his Porsche into the top 10. Jan Černý currently 8th from Maťo Homola and Keki Platzer, which means that we have somebody falling down and out of the top 10, which should be Tom Berghäuser currently in 13th with his Ferrari, and also Miha Primožič after the bad luck in the closing stages of the first race, currently only 15th, but right in front of Gabriela Jilková. We didn't really see much of her in the first race. And this is Tom Berghäuser slotting in front of Jakub Knoll, and who's also probably had bad luck is Joachim Galáš, because he was third on the grid, but right now he's only down into 18th, so something must have happened to Joachim Galáš on the opening lap of the race, because Galáš is now way further down the order. So that's some bad luck for him. Pavel Gelner leading the race from Petr Fulín, already managing to open the gap, but we saw how quick Petr Fulín was in the first race. So let's see if you can reel Pavel Gelner back in and shoot himself back into the fight for another victory here in Hungary. That would be a victorious double for Petr Fulín if he can make that happen. But there's still a lot of work to do in front of him if he wants to do so. So, Záruba third from Michal Makeš in fourth. Then Bartek Mirecki, Filip Sládečka, David Němček, Jan Černý, Maťo Homola and Keki Platzer completing the top 10. David Vršecký seemingly surviving the opening lap this time out, and currently running 23rd. There he is, David Vršecký. the BUGGYRA zero mileage racing driver. Already enjoying a better race this time out. Running 23rd behind Matěj Kácovský. Petr Fulín running second, and it looks to me that he's chipping tenths away from the gap of Pavel Gelner. He's not closing down very quickly, but we still have some 90 minutes racing left on the clock. Šimon Ladňák versus Gabriela Jilková. That's a nice little fight for P15. It was a little nudge from behind. And Gabriela Jilková dancing through the third corner, following Šimon Ladňák. Sorry, the other way around. It's Gabriela Jilková running away from Šimon Ladňák in 15th. Which means that she swapped cars from pre-season. And right now Gabriela Jilková racing for Your Speed team with an Audi R8. So, another five-way battle among the Lambos from third all the way down to 7th. And this is Tom Beghuyser right behind Karol Wittke. That's a fight for 11th. And Tom Beghuyser making a piece of cake of that. So Tom Beghuyser now in 11th, which means that all is ready for him to enter the top 10. There's only the small matter of closing down the gap on Keki Platzer in 10th. And we are looking at David Němček, who's currently last of the Lambo group, P7, following Filip Sládečka, 147.4 for Filip Sládečka on the last lap. Behind them, that's Jan Černý in P8 in his Porsche, but this scrap looks to be very, very closely fought. Filip Sládečka 6th. There's no way to get past into the chicane this time out. As we said, it's a tight and twisty track, so hard to navigate those fast GT3 machines around the Mickey Mouse track of Hungaroring. They would definitely be probably happier on more open tracks, for example like Brno, which will close this season as a finale at the end of June. We have some interesting circuits coming up. It's the Austrian Red Bull Ring, and we have one of the Mercedes spinning into the last sector of the track after a fight with Gabriela Jilková. That must have been Šimon Ladňák or Joachim Galáš. Yes, that's Šimon Ladňák. More bad luck for the Polish driver from GT2 Motorsport. This is Jirka Navrátil following Tomáš Lídl. Jiří Navrátil enjoying his online racing return, although it is proving quite difficult for him pace-wise, but he's definitely trying hard. And right now he's trying to overtake Tomáš Lídl for 18th. Joachim Galáš right in front of Gabriela Jilková. This is almost a deja vu for Gabriela Jilková, because she already made some easy work out of one of the Mercs a few laps ago. And this is Michal Makeš moving past Bartek Mirecki into fourth. There must have been a scrap between them two. Michal Makeš defending from Mirecki. This is allowing Josef Záruba to pull a bit of a gap in front of them. And really, Bartek Mirecki is glued to the rear spoiler of Michal Makeš. We are now entering the start-finish straight yet again, nearing the halfway mark of the race. So, any attempts into first corner? Yes, there is. Bartek Mirecki being really long under braking. And not only did he not manage to get himself in front of Michal Makeš, but he fell right into the clutches of David Němček. David Němček kissing his Lambo a few times in the second corner. But nothing more than that. Filip Sládečka watching all the action from 7th in his white Lamborghini. And Petr Fulín leading the race. So there was a change of positions between Petr Fulín and Pavel Gelner yet again. Pavel Gelner was leading the race from the start after a very nice getaway and overtaking into the first corner, but it seems that Petr Fulín managed to get back on pace and he hunted Pavel Gelner and then managed to get in front of his countryman and taking the lead again. So around the halfway mark of the race, Petr Fulín is heading for a double, and Filip Sládečka, more bad luck for him. Another contact as in the first race of the season, and Filip Sládečka spinning around, falling down the order. Filip Sládečka currently slotting somewhere around 10th. He should be 9th behind Maťo Homola. Yes, he is, and he has, I believe, Tom Beckhuyser right behind him. This is Jan Černý benefiting from the bad luck of his opponent. And he's trying to trouble David Němček at the end of the first sector of the track, but this is no place for overtaking. Into fourth, it's really very hard to get alongside somebody else. Oh, this is being a bit of a crazy fight for Jan Černý, because he's got two day glow yellow Lambos around him, one in front, one in the back. So Tom Beckhuyser from Keki Place and Miha Primožič in his GTR, showing us that you can actually overtake into the chicane, but this is not a done deal yet. There was no space left on the track for Miha Primožič. He was punched out of the track and in the end didn't manage to get himself in front of Keki Place. Karel Wittke 13th from Joachim Galaš. That's the battle that we are watching right now. Joachim Galaš, after bad luck on the opening lap of the race, currently 14th. So let's get back into some top action, and it's Jan Černý making a mistake entering the start-finish straight. Jan Černý losing a place to Maťo Homola. He exited the last corner side first. That's definitely not the fastest way around, and onto the start-finish straight, which means that Jan Černý lost a place to Maťo Homola. And we have another fight coming up, because Michal Makeš has just managed to reel in Josef Záruba, his teammate. Both racing for Michanek Motorsport. And Michal Makeš already troubling Josef Záruba very much. He is all over the back of his teammate. So, moments of great pressure for Josef Záruba, the man with whom we spoke after quali. So far doing great job this season. Fighting inside the top 5 in both races. Just missing out on the podium in race 1 to Joachim Galáš. But this time Galáš is way further down the order, which means that Josef Záruba is 3rd. But it will definitely not be easy. Jaký Platzer following Karol Wittke in 13th. Behind them there's Gabriela Jilková in the other Audi R8. Interesting battle between two German brands. And look at David Vršecký, still making ground after the unlucky first race, and currently entering the second 10, let's say, second decade of the starting grid. But this is a nice four-way battle. Oh, that was a problem for David Vršecký, and he fell right behind Matěj Kácovský, entering the start and finish straight. It seems to me that David Vršecký is now having lots of trouble. We didn't really see that, but David Vršecký fell way down and way back. But we are watching Petr Fulín leading the race. Not so dominantly as in the first race, but definitely Petr Fulín is being fast enough to run away from Pavel Gellner, not allowing him into any chance, into any overtaking opportunity. David Vršecký really lost some ground on Matěj Kácovský, and Matěj Kácovský managed to move ahead of Tomáš Lídl right now into 20th. They're both behind René Martinek and Jiří Navrátil. So that was a short view. Ooh, and some trouble for Jiří Navrátil at the far end of the circuit. So two Slovakian Lambos in a close formation. David Němček in 6th, Maťo Homola in 7th. Maťo Homola has been enjoying quite a lot of online action in the past weeks, so he's definitely gained a lot of experience already, and he is definitely among the best currently on the Czech and Slovak racing scene. But having said that, the opening round of the 2020 ESET I-Series not really catching him with the best of luck, and he had to move his way up into the top 10 in the first race, and right now being more towards the bottom half of it, whilst the Czech Lambos are way further up the field, still battling for 3rd. Yeah, Záruba holding on to 3rd in front of Michal Makeš. We also have Bartek Merecký in 5th, trying to close the gap right down, but not being entirely successful lately. David Němček in a fight with Maťo Homola into the first corner, and it seems that Maťo Homola is managing to get ahead. both yellow Lambos side by side into second. So who's going to come out on top? It seems that Maťo Homola has just overtaken David Němček. A big Slovakian fight for B6, and Maťo Homola being victorious in it. Maťo Homola now being the leading Lambo of the ARC Bratislava team. He's already gifted his Lambo a bit of damage, so if you watch both cars from the front, you see that there is a bit of a gap under the bonnet of the leading yellow Lambo right now. That's a new vent that Maťo Homola managed to open for himself. Sadly, this will not help with cooling the engine down, because that's at the basically in the middle, so only creating a bit of a draft there. David Vršecký following Tomáš Liedl very closely. Another great battle for 21st. David Vršecký enjoying himself on the opening weekend of the series. Definitely way further down than we would like to see him, but still showing us some great on-track action. Into the chicane following Tomáš Liedl really closely, forcing him into a mistake. And he will try to capitalize on that, but it's really hard to do so in these twisty bends in the middle sector of Hungaroring. And that's another fierce battle between Tom Beghuyser and Miha Primožič for the last point of the race. So there is a great deal of motivation to be had in this fight. Miha Primožič currently 11th, and also having to defend from really hungry Joachim Galaš. He's definitely been trying to move himself up into the top 10, and now trying it on the inside, not quite managing to get ahead. This is really tricky for Miha Primožič, because he would like to choose a line, but that's being made much worse and harder by Tom Beghuyser, driving really in front of Joachim Galaš, who's now pushing Miha Primožič again, but letting him go. So that was a nice piece of sportsmanship from Joachim Galaš. Miha Primožič on the receiving end of the bumps and crashes this weekend. So we are entering one of the last laps of the race, and again it's Záruba from Mákes in third. This will be really interesting. I think that Petr Fulín still has enough time to enter another lap, so this should be the penultimate round of the race. There we go with Petr Fulín leading the race again, and only managing to escape even more from Pavel Gelner. There we go with Pavel Gelner in second. He was quite busy lapping some cars. Oh, and the lapped cars, I think, are being hunted by the pairing of the Czech Lambos. Hopefully they will not speak into the battle for third, and it will be fair and square. So, dying seconds of the race, 10 seconds to go. Will this be enough for Petr Fulín to win the race already or enter another lap? This will be really close, but we might be looking at the finish of the race. I believe so. Petr Fulín entering one more lap in the end. So that was really tight. with the timing system at the track. And this is the important fight for third. Bartek Merecki getting himself into the fight, but currently overtaking Josef Záruba because he already lost the place to Michal Makeš. So big changes on the last lap of the race. Josef Záruba, no, he still is third. Ooh, there are two cars really getting in the way of the battle for third. Two lap machines, but they are now out of the way. So Josef Záruba is third. He did not lose the place, although the timing screen may have suggested it so a few moments ago. So Záruba, but now from Bartek Merecki. Michal Makeš made a small error and he let Bartek Merecki into fourth. But we will be following Petr Fulín, who is taking another victory in Hungary. There he is, Petr Fulín, in the penultimate corner of the lap, climbing up through the last bend onto the start and finish straight. Petr Fulín has done it, and he remains unchallenged for the entirety of the opening weekend of the 2020 ESET I-Series. Petr Fulín victorious in race 2 as well. Josef Záruba managing to hold on to third. So great job for Josef Záruba, who will climb up onto the podium, now having a friendly crash with his teammate. Michal Makeš finishing 5th, right behind Bartek Merecki. And we have Pavel Gelner in 2nd. So Petr Fulín winning the 2nd race of the season and being unchallenged. This is Gabriela Jilková finishing outside the points yet again. So not really the best of weekends to open the season with. And David Vršecký completing the top 20 currently. So Petr Fulín winning the race from Pavel Gelner once again. This time around it is Josef Záruba finishing 3rd from Bartek Merecki and Michal Makeš. The other drivers finishing the race as well. Should have another interview lining up shortly. Let's see if we can get good connection, get hold of the double victor from the first weekend. We would definitely like to hear from the dominant man of the opening round of the 2020 ESET I-Series. That was some great on-track action to start the season with. Season that will be contested over 5 race weekend, let's not forget, every other Sunday, and in a fortnight we'll be moving to, although virtually, we'll be moving to Austria, to the famous track of Red Bull Ring, which should see some more dramatic action, some more overtaking, definitely offering more opportunities than Hungaroring, but already for a track that is so notoriously difficult to overtake on as Hungaroring. We saw lots of action this time out, so that's only the best invitation for the round 2 in 2 weeks' time. So let's see the best of the action actually in race number 2. So we had Pavel Gelner returning the
Pěkně natáčej, už nevím, jak to tam leze.
tady sešli, aby jsme otestovali u Dakaru vlastně to první testování. Testujeme od rána už a zatím dobrý.
Strašný. Co ti mám povídat? Chápu, jak si někdo může sednout na místo spolujezdce. Na 10 hodin po dobu 14 dnů. Slavně.
Hele, člověk si na chvíli v mostě odloží auto a ono už je bez kol. Ještě mrknu, jestli tam je rádio.
Pod Matadorem, tam to klouže hodně, tam se dotkneš svého obrubníku a prostě najednou celý auto odjede o 2 metry ven, ale je to kontrolovatelný.
Je to těsně před první jízdou, tak jsem na to sám zvědavej, no. Běžte se modlit všichni.
Tady nějaký velký auto, má to velký kola, hodně kol, zádu ty pláky. Potěším se.
Ale to má
Zázem. Řadíš se spojkou?
No ty vole, bylo by dobrý. No.
Nahoru i dolů.
Bylo by to docela dobrý. No.
Nevím, jestli ze mě bude říct z kamionu, ale dá se s tím hrát, má to super výkon, super krouťák. Fakt jako zábava je to.
No, já jsem se fakt hezky zazávodil, jenom je škoda, že prostě tam ty kontakty jsou větší než v track racingu. Že prostě jsou tam velký rozdíly mezi rychlejma a pomalejšíma. A ve chvíli, kdy tam jede rychlejší, tak ten pomalej mu to zavírá, prostě pomalu ho vytlačí mimo tráť. a on je rychlejší třeba o 2 vteřiny, no. Takže ve chvíli, když se dostane před něj, tak za 2 kola už ho nevidí. Takže to je jenom blbý, že prostě ta tolerance tam není asi taková, jak bych si třeba představoval, ale jinak hezký závody samozřejmě, no. Trošku mě mrzí ten první závod, kde jsem ho tady odseděl u monitoru a koukal jsem, jak ostatní závodě, takže jsem se to trošku vynahradil tím druhým závodem, nicméně s nějakýma dvouma takovým vylítnutím mimo tráť, když jsem tam hrozně ztratil, tak pak bylo fajn jakoby někoho dojíždět, předjíždět, posouvat si dopředu. To mě jako bavilo, no. Samozřejmě by mě to bavilo ještě o kousek víc, kdybych byl v tom startovním pole lepředějš.
Takže příště.
Takže příště.